Hello and welcome to this week's Slam NCG's look back on the golfing week. I'm Alex Perry, and who will be Europe's Ryder Cup captain in 2020? Well, it's widely believed it will be Padraig Harrington for several reasons. One, he's generally considered the perfect personality to lead Europe in an away fixture. And also, he actually wants the job. A future Ryder Cup captain for sure, but now it's more clear why he is so keen to have the job in 2 years' time. Speaking ahead of this week's Turkish Airlines Open, Harrington told reporters that host venue for 2020 Ryder Cup, Whistling Straits, is basically a European course. He said ahead of this year's Ryder Cup that the players knew that going to Le Golf National, that making par would probably be enough to win, and that was their tactic. He also pointed out that the Americans' triumph in 2016 at Hazeltine was all down to the venue. He said ahead of that Ryder Cup that a statistician for the US team told them that if they make more birdies, they will win, and that proved to be the case. And what seems like a thinly veiled dig at the powers that be that pick the venues for these tournaments, he said there are just so many golf courses in the States that they could go to, and in fact they should just show up to Hazeltine every year and they'd win it every time. It's probably worth noting that 3 PGA championships have been played at Whistling Straits and not one of them has been won by an American. But having said that, only one's been won by a European, and that was Martin Keimer. Remember him? He was big and German and always shining. Right, next up, Bryson DeChambeau being about as Bryson DeChambeau can be. The new rules of golf come into play on January 1, I'm sure you know, and no one is more excited than BDC. One of the rules, of course, is that the flagstick can be left in the hole even when you're putting. The idea, of course, is to speed up play, but DeChambeau has other plans. It depends on the COR, the coefficient of restitution of the flagstick. Yeah, easy for you to say. Confused? Obviously, of course you are. I could barely say it out loud. He added that in US Opens, he will take the flagstick out, but in regular PGA Tour events where the flagstick is made of fiberglass, he will leave it in and, quote, bounce it off them if he needs to. He also believes the USGA will backtrack on this rule when it comes to tour events when they realise that effectively they've made the hole bigger. And who knew that US Open pins are noticeably thicker than normal pins? No one on the planet thinks like this man, and we can learn so much from him. He's basically like golf's Jesus Christ. And finally, it was Halloween this week, and while DeChambeau may be a brilliant scientist, he is a horrible practical joker. He played a trick on fellow Cobra Puma staffer Ricky Fowler at the Shriners Hospitals for Children Open this week. Let's just say it wasn't very good, and even Fowler quite obviously thinks the same. I'll put the video below if you want to watch that. Right, golfers love dressing up for Halloween, so let's just have a quick flick through the best of this year's efforts. There's Justin Thomas riding a dinosaur. Michelle Wee joined the Addams family. Luke Donald's family joined the LOL dolls, whatever the hell that is. There was this incredible effort from the Snedekers. Paige Spiranak replicated that Farrah Fawcett poster from the 70s, obviously. And although strictly not a golfer, Paulina Gretzky simultaneously dressed up as the world's hottest and coldest Eskimo. What's that? No. Hottest because she's attractive, coldest because she's not wearing very many clothes. And counterproductive for an Eskimo, isn't it? No, I'm just saying, yeah, I know the joke works. That's why I did it. Right, what should you be reading on nationalclubgolfer.com this week? Well, winter is coming, it's quite chilly out there, and James Savage has run down all the best shoes you should be looking into if you want to keep your feet warm out on the course. And speaking of being out on the course, Mark Townsend has written down the 25 things that you say that are really annoying. Stop doing them. And in his frankest column yet, Steve Carroll talks about his mental health issues and how golf saved him from those. It's a really brave piece. I highly recommend you go and read that. Right, that was this week's Slam. I'm Alex Perry. I'll see you next week.